Hey, how you doing? It's great to be back with you, Jesse. Greg, Aaron is unfortunately out today, giving a presentation at a continuing legal education seminar. So for all his fans that tuned in to see Aaron, he won't be here today. First thing
I will not be here next week. I'll be on an airplane. And
next week,
the following week, I will be in France. I may be able to do it.
And I will be in France as well with you.
Maybe we'll do a Parisian.
Maybe do a Parisian. It might be a little late, a little before eating at a nice restaurant. We can do that.
All right.
Maybe that's what we could do. The first thing I want to talk about today is the Uniting for Ukraine, our lawsuit, which Judge Boasberg transferred to the Eastern District of New York. Is that Long Island? Is that the Eastern District? Because the Southern District is Manhattan, right? So the Eastern District has got to be Long Island. Jesse, what do you
White Plains.
White Plains is not east of the Southern District. It's north.
Well, I know it's gerrymandered though, because I always screw it up, and I never can figure it out when I'm filing it. It is very much a gerrymandered. So Eastern District. I mean Long Island, Staten Island. I don't know the islands.
It's fine.
It comprises the counties of Kings, Nassau, Queens, Richmond, Suffolk, and some other.
Yeah.
So it actually includes Brooklyn, which is where the court is. Oh, well, cool. So I guess Brooklyn is technically east of Manhattan.
It is.
Kind of.
There's a bridge.
It's east of the East River.
Yeah, I guess that would be it. So there's a reason they call it the East River, right? It's east. So we are assigned to the chief magistrate, Lois Bloom, who came on the bench as a magistrate. Now, magistrates are not appointed by presidents. They are chosen by the sitting judges of the district. As I think that's correct, right, Jesse? I think that's how magistrates work.
Sometimes you have to run.
Yeah.
But I don't know how it works over there in Brooklyn. But
I know here it's chosen by the district court judges. So,
yeah,
she was appointed, didn't run. But I mean,
no, but it's definitely
a page.
But if I recall correctly, it's a 7 to 10 year term or something like that.
Her term ends, and she's been in since 2001. Her current term ends.
The magistrate Bloom's been in for 21 years. She's during the Bush administration.
Wow.
But prior to her being on the bench, she was in like legal services, like in working with poor people kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So she's not necessarily a bad person, at least her background suggests, for us to be in front of. And in that district, the magistrates have full authority to give final judgments, which would suggest that the government, should they lose, which they will not be able to appeal to a district court judge first, which is what happens here in Georgia. That's not the final judgment. We all have to enter our Pro Act Vice admissions. I got mine all done, except I need to get the certificate of good standing has to be within the last 30 days.
Yeah,
I don't know why a printout from the State Bar's website saying isn't good enough. I mean,
it's just not good enough. Yeah,
it's not. I mean, because somebody could have hacked, which is
because you need to pay the whether it's $15 or $32. Yeah, so they want that deposit, so they'll put a stamp on.
It takes a while to get it.
It's all a scam. Well, you can FedEx. I did everything electronically yesterday. Well, kind of electronically. You print it out, the form. You can email it with the payment you make online. So you can give them your FedEx.
How fast did you get your good standing certificate?
So that's how. I should have it tomorrow. So because I asked for it to be FedEx today. So
you didn't submit it with the application. You're going to send.
You have to submit it with. You have to upload it to the Pacer system. In the case that's now in Pacer for the Eastern District of Washington.
Yeah, I mean,
pretty easy to do.
She's going to be facing a motion to transfer again. I mean, I think that's the next.
It's the first thing the government's going to file. The sad part, the government has to do it. Doesn't have to do this. They can just appear, right? So they don't have to get a Pro Act Vice.
Where are they? But they have to like.
They're going to try to go to court of claims. They want to get rid of the class action.
So it's a giant game. It's a giant game of tag. I mean, it really is, and and they just keep running away. And
so it looks like we may be back where we started at. So
yeah,
whatever. That's fine. I'm happy with that. We'll be able to do outreach and get people notified. So that's just where that is. It's just kind of in legal. It's in the legal process.
It is.
If you learned nothing since Donald Trump has been on the scene, is that lots of different parties can screw around with the legal process. I didn't know yesterday because Trump went to trial yesterday in New York. He was deposed in the afternoon in a different lawsuit from Peter Strzok. He dismissed his own lawsuit against Michael Cohen because he didn't want to be deposed in his own lawsuit against Michael Cohen. And he had a hearing down in Florida at the same time. I mean,
that was after he appeared before Judge Chutkan the other day on the gag order.
Well, he didn't show up to that.
He didn't?
No, I don't think he showed up to that. No, I don't think he was there in front of Chutkan. He just blurted out his pre-hearing diatribe of nonsense, and then he hasn't said anything since because I don't think he wants to go to jail.
I wouldn't mess with that. I would not mess with that with her at all. No way.
Yeah, I wouldn't mess with Chutkan. Oh no. No way. No, not a chance. All right, the 601A, the litigation, everybody knows, is still pending. We're waiting on the upcoming hearing. Do we have a hearing date, Jesse, in that case?
No, I think just the briefing. The briefing's wrapped up. I don't think in the Fourth Circuit. I don't think it's done in the Ninth Circuit just yet. I think there's another reply or something.
I think there's a reply brief due this week or next week. Yeah.
So there's no more approval since last week.
Yeah. There's no argument set.
But there will be argument in the Ninth Circuit. So
and the Fourth, I would have to imagine. Yeah.
And I think we're going to win both of those cases. It's ridiculous.
52 approvals.
Oh, that's great news. So we still got 240 folks left.
No denials, just approvals.
That's great. Congratulations, everybody who was approved. That's great news. What month are they? Are they into April yet, Greg?
No, these were all March.
Well, there was online somebody got an April approval, which wouldn't surprise me, because we all know they don't do them in order. But it just depends on what each officer was assigned to do that day. Well, if they're making this progress, if they were smart, they would adjudicate all the cases before this was over, and then they would just move to dismiss the case.
Yeah.
And so they would do, but they haven't done that yet. So that's still out there, as is the 601 case. We're still waiting on the judge to decide the motions before him. We did last week. Aaron submitted a supplemental pieces of information about a couple cases that went our way in different places, which is great. I don't want this to turn into a DC Circuit kind of delay on the case, but I think we're down to like 5 plaintiffs, or maybe even 4 plaintiffs in that case.
We have a questioner that's asking what which court case that Aaron based the supplemental authority notice on.
That was in the 601 case.
Right, but I guess
the cases that he cited? There was one from Indiana and there was one from Eastern District of Pennsylvania where the judges there had denied a motion to dismiss on a delay-based case.
On an identical motion. I mean, basically the same.
Yeah, they weren't waiver cases, but they were immigrant visa cases.
Same issue.
But they were the same issue. That you don't have authority to look at anything that we don't do.
Yeah, and I mean, not only that at a motion to dismiss stage, it's a bit early before we choose sides on what's reasonable and how long and who how it would interfere. So definitely good decisions.
And we got them to court. So the good news in the Ninth Circuit, where our 601A case is that the decision from the district court is terrible. It's a terrible decision. It's just
short.
It's short. It's lacking logic. It was like written by a first-year law student. I mean, it's junk.
I mean, it's going to come down. I mean, it always does. There's so many judges in that Ninth Circuit now. It's not our dad's Ninth Circuit either.
No,
so
it's not my Ninth Circuit. What are you kidding me?
That's not your Ninth Circuit. It's really my Ninth Circuit. I mean,
Yeah.
I used to have to go take 6 cases out there from DC and know that I would be lucky to win one.
Yeah, and the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune.
But now it's different. You
never know. We don't know who the panel's going to be, right? But
you get some
still
real
a terrible decision to appeal from.
Yeah.
So beyond that, there's really not much else going on. The government just announced they're just on the H-1B stuff. They've got at least they cleared one regulation out of the White House on, it wasn't on the lottery, it was on visa issuance for H-1Bs. I don't know if it's visa revalidation in the United States, but some type of visa issuance in the United States just cleared the White House.
Stateside.
So
well, it's the visa revalidation. I mean, they said they were going to have that done before
this is something a little bit different. This might be visa stamping in the which I'd be shocked if they did that, but
I think they are going to do
that. What? No, Chuck, that's coming.
Yeah,
they've announced that. That was announced like a year ago.
Well, it cleared the White House.
Yeah.
We still have no inside info on what the H-1B lottery for 2025 will look like, other than I am pretty sure it's going to cost $225.
Well, I mean, aside from there's a couple of things that they could do. One is they could beef up the fraud language in there and just specifically say, on there that multiple application. There are legitimate instances where people would have more than one application pending. So I would imagine they're not going to bar that outright, but that they might have some language on fraud. They will also probably raise the fee, as you're saying. I think the $200 figure is the one that I think we've heard before.
Yeah.
And then I guess that, one of the things that has been urged is to flip the algorithm around and count and count on multiple applications as one for lottery purposes. They could say that. I don't know if that's if they're ready to do that yet.
It's certainly feasible to do. That's just a computer program.
I know that was Ayla asked them to consider that in their liaisons,
or they could adopt the Siskin recommendation.
That was my recommendation.
Count the foreign national.
Right. Well, that's essentially the same thing. Yeah, and then it has the added benefit of letting the foreign national choose the employer after they're selected, which has an upward wage effect for U.S. workers.
I agree.
So there's a lot of good policy reasons to do that.
Yeah, there's good stuff to do that. So that's kind of where we are. On just a little bit on DACA, by the way. It's going back up to the Fifth Circuit after Judge Hannon again. Mm-hmm. I think there's zero chance the Fifth Circuit overturns Judge Hannon. I don't care who the panel is. What's interesting about this, remember the last, the Texas versus DHS or DHS versus this Texas decision that came out right before the election. So June 2020, SCOTUS comes out and says, yeah, you screwed it up, but Trump, you did it wrong. You didn't follow the APA. So it's looking more and more likely that we're looking at a June 2024 SCOTUS decision.
Right. The only tricky thing, and this is, I think, the first case seemed like they denied it because they said they didn't follow the APA. They should have done a regulation.
They should have done that. Yeah.
They should have done a regulation. And you said a long time ago.
2013, I wrote a blog on that.
Right. I remember that. That was, so then they did it by the book and did a regulation and put it out for comment and everything like that. And now he's saying, well, it doesn't follow the act.
Which is nuts because
the act doesn't give you that authority. But that's a harder one to claim unless
it's a terrible decision in light of this last summer's decision on the prosecutorial discretion memo, where SCOTUS says you don't get to sue on this. It's discretion. They have discretion. It's called deferred action of removal. It's the exact same thing as discretion.
Right.
I think they have a really good argument.
That's why I think the Fifth Circuit may not be as stampy as you think.
Standing. There's standing issues with the states challenging the DACA reg. They need to have someone else with standing do it. I think the Supreme Court would say, Fifth Circuit too. I think they're going to see the writing on the wall and say, you know what, this regulation may be garbage, and but you can't be the ones to bring it. And there's good arguments on that now,
Jesse.
Huh?
You grossly overestimate the Fifth Circuit. The Fifth Circuit has developed this now They are now worse than the Ninth Circuit as far as SCOTUS is concerned.
I hear you. But I think they just actually got rebuked.
They did
pretty sternly in a gun case by the Supremes, and these things, they put on pants one leg at a time. And, I just think for them, like if I were them and I would say, listen, let's make it the Supreme Court's problem. Let's reverse for standing and have them appeal to the Supremes, and let's see what happens there. And I don't think that the states will. I think they're going to have a tough issue because it seems very similar to the PD case, right? Like how?
I think
what
it's
harms?
identical.
Show me your harms.
Hannon ignored it. Hannon basically just dismissed that PD case out of.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, his political fingerprints are all over this freaking thing. I mean, he should recuse himself at this point. I mean, really. I mean,
completely crazy. So that's your DACA stuff. What's going on there? Greg, today they are voting on a Speaker of the House.
Yeah.
Which would suggest that they're not going to pass immigration reform anytime soon.
Well, I have a theory.
I want to hear your updated theory on legislative update.
I do not. Well, first of all, I think this is the end of the line if they don't, as far as sort of like just trying to find a Republican that that the whole caucus can agree on. At this point, I don't think that person exists, that they'll be able to do it. And I think they'll go through this process with Jim Jordan, and he will not get nominated. He will not get elected as Speaker. He had 20 votes against him yesterday, and I'm doubtful that he has to flip 15 of those people and get them to change their mind, and I just don't see that happening. So that's what that's going to mean is that they're going to, and the Democrats have said this yesterday. Hakeem Jeffries and Jamie Raskin and a few others have basically said, we will vote for a Republican, but it's got to be a normal person, and we have all these conditions that are part of that. And one of those conditions is that they can basically bring up any bill to the floor that has majority support on there. No more Hastert rule. No more that the Republicans can keep a bill off the floor, even if it would pass ultimately. If they do that, and they have to do that, they'll do that potentially as well for Ukraine and Israel and other must-pass things, and also keeping the government running. Obviously, that's important. So if that happens, there is a possibility that they could move some immigration legislation. I don't think it will be broad immigration reform, but I can see DACA, and I can see a few other issues potentially where they can find 5 Republican votes. I think that there are a few there's some narrow pro-immigration issues that they could potentially do that, and then they can also potentially get like normal run-of-the-mill, old-fashioned stuff that they used to pass, like technical fixes to a worker visa program, or potentially something on skilled worker stuff that would make us all pretty happy. That's a possibility. I think that probably they would still have to make some kind of deal on enforcement, but I wouldn't put it past the House if Jordan doesn't get elected today. I'd say the odds of some decent immigration legislation passing go up significantly.
Well, what I've seen is that Biden will be proposing a $100 billion funding bill for the next year, which includes Ukraine, Israel, border security, and a couple other things that would probably pass if it was on the floor.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they throw in some stuff on DACA and some other sympathetic immigration legislation.
I agree.
So, I see the border enforcement now as Joe's out. I don't think they're gonna. I think they're gonna let it happen to the chagrin of a lot of people who've been doing great work down at the border. But I think that beefing up the border security is kind of like the easy sell. And
if you build the wall and you still have a problem, what are you going to do, right?
Yeah. Well, and I think, again, we can't be.
He'll throw some immigration bones to the Democratic caucus on that. I don't.
Yeah. I think he's going to throw some bones to the Republican caucus on it. I just don't.
Right. He'll do something where lots of enforcement, but some things that we're going to like too.
Yeah. I think here's the problem we have, and I think I'm not without blame. I mean, in Massachusetts, he's starting to get a lot of the Democratic base pissed because we have a lot of people. Massachusetts spends $45 million a day to house some of these people who can't work yet. And, there's a lot of Democratic voters last time I
I
checked.
can't imagine the Immigration Service dragging their feet on work authorization.
I actually don't think they are. I think they're trying to do as much as possible, but
they're not doing as much as possible because they could just basically say a receipt is evidence of work authorization.
Oh, that would be huge. No,
they're doing as much as possible under the rules that they've imposed on them.
Correct. Yeah, right. It's like they put up they put themselves in a box and they say, well, we can't get out. It's like a cat, Right. No, but I think that there's some real.
They did start issuing the 5-year work cards and
advanced paroles
and advanced parole cards, which will reduce their load significantly. So that was something that might be, that might have some downstream effects on the other applications.
There's still work authorization for those 601As, those 100,000 601As they could do like freaking yesterday.
There's like if they really wanted to solve stuff, they have, they can say that they don't have levers that they can move to actually resolve a lot of these issues that they've done. But essentially they've created this system and they're say that it's impossible for them to change it, and it's always possible. And when the White House tells them to fix it, they fix it.
By the way, they are on the D's, and already 6 Republicans have voted against Jordan. They're on the D's.
Bye, Jim.
Good, Jim. GYM.
You're only 12 to 6, unless it is possible for people to flip their votes back before it's over, but that is not going to happen.
It's not.
Not going to happen. All right. The last thing, because we got to throw a bone to our clients in the Go case and the Gomez case, Acker case. We know there's nothing. Somebody email me. You have to do a better job and get the judges. Call them. Send them a letter.
Never do that.
It's not how it works in America.
No.
You don't.
Even if you could do that, it would probably irritate them.
What you should do is call Secretary Blinken and ask him to withdraw the appeal. That's what you should do.
Absolutely. This could be solved by the White House if they wanted to.
Yeah, they could do the right thing. All right, a couple questions. Craig, can you legislative updates you just gave? That's great. Daniel Lopez, let's hear this good news. 601 waiver plaintiffs. Well, I think we've only got 4 left. So, any news on EB5? EB5 case is over.
Yeah.
All of our clients got an email with the instructions, and everybody will be.
One thing on legislative update, just to note, there is a must-pass immigration bill that's tied to the appropriations bill, and that's for religious workers, doctors.
Oh yes, they need to fix that.
Verify. I don't think EB5 is in that package.
EB5 is separate now. So
it's now the 3. There used to always be 4. So there has to be something immigration related in the appropriations.
Yeah, that's tied to the year-end numbers.
They may just, if they do a reauthorization, if they just extend the government funding for like 6 more months or whatever, then those programs extend. If they don't, then they actually have to have an immigration provision in whatever the Commerce, State, and Justice bill or wherever that would end up being. So that could also be a vehicle for other immigration stuff to be included with that.
All right. So if anybody else wants to sue on EB5, you just let us know. I'd love to put another lawsuit together because this time we have the goods before we go into this. So let me know. We're happy to sue on the EB5s. I'm just not going to do it in Washington, D.C., right, Jesse? Just not.
Well, no, I mean, I would. I mean, I think that, I think there's a lot of good things in that DaCosta decision. I mean, they said that, we didn't submit proof that they.
But you did. They ignored it.
Well, they ignored it. But if you put it before the district court now, and they've changed their processing rule. And are they following that? So if you have, for EB5s, if you have evidence that they've adjudicated people in your project and you're sitting there on a wire, I think that's a strong case. But what I see now, though, I'm on the EB5 committee.
Sucker.
No, it's really, I learn a lot because I don't know a lot, to be honest. I'm just a litigator guy. And what they are seeing is a lot of pre-RIAs petitions sitting out there, but
Oh yeah, they're not touching them.
Yeah, they're doing great shakes on rural projects and other. But if you're pre-RIA, yeah, they're not, and they're killing people on lawful sources.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like show us the tombstone, or show like back
How you
300
got your
years.
inheritance from your dad? Prove he's dead.
No, not only your dad, his dad's dad.
His
Like
dad's
show us,
dad that inherited the property, and it's crazy, right?
It's tough to win that. Oh my God, it's tough.
All right, Emily Marshall, how does U.S. determine who to give a 5-year con? That's a great question. They're supposed to, well, as opposed to just a standalone 5-year EAD or a 1-year AP.
Yeah.
There doesn't appear to be enough evidence to teach us who they're giving the complete combo card for 5 years to at this point.
Yeah.
I think we'll have a better handle on that in a month or two. I've only seen one. Greg, have you seen any others? Any other combo cards for 5 years? I've seen one.
No, I haven't seen any.
Yeah, we've gotten tons of 5-year EADs, but just one 5-year combo card in the mail in the last couple of weeks. T. Lyons, good afternoon, General. Can you advise us a court case after notice of supplemental authority? Yes, we talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
That's a case out of Indiana and a case out of
Eastern District of Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. Jamara, is there anything you can do about U.S. egregiously taking 61 cases out of order? That's our litigation.
Yeah.
We are trying to do something about that.
Yeah.
They're following the law of order for our specific plaintiffs.
Yeah, our plaintiffs are
even though the rest of the rest they've kind of been all over the place.
Yeah. It's crazy.
They're probably doing that very deliberately. So you say, Judge, we're just working these cases in order and trying to
totally.
the rest of the case so it doesn't exist.
I think Emily's referring to something different. You've never been able to get an initial H stamp in the United States.
No.
It's never happened. You used
Not
to be able
initial.
to revalidate your H in the United States.
I don't think they're changing an initial H in the U.S.
Well, that's why I was a little confused earlier because
no. This is just revalidation. It's not
revalidation is easy.
Not initial. That they're not going to change.
Interesting to know, why did they stop doing it? 9/11. They stopped doing a lot of good stuff after 9/11, and they just 9/11 caused. I mean, we're still living with the consequences of 9/11. The overreaction, a knee-jerk reaction, the
transit without visa. Remember transit without visa?
TWOV, baby.
What a dumb.
Yeah, no country does that anymore. By the way, nobody does that anymore. All right, inside the U. Okay, A61's out of order. Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Jamara, if you can send us the source materials.
Yeah, that is interesting.
I think we can send an update to the court. Just say, FYI, Judge, they've adjudicated 20% of the filed cases from November 2022. And they haven't adjudicated our case from April 2020. If you can get us just email it to Aaron or I or Jesse or Greg, and we'll see if we can't put something together. And yeah, congrats to 21. It's what can I tell you? I'm good.
Yeah.
You should write a rap about your
savage.
He already did. Got a lot of lawyers. The dude's got a lot of lawyers. Is all I can tell you. It was really a really fun kind of team effort because there's a lot of moving parts to this with ICE and USCIS. But it was he's a good man, and he's really doing well with Drake. Him and Drake are. I have not met Drake, but I do have 21's cell number, but I'm not giving it to you. He doesn't answer anyway, so don't worry. Daniel, you and I are holding the fort for 61 waivers. There you go. News about Go. We talked about that. They need to bring back InfoPass. Oh my God. Well, you can get an InfoPass. You just can't get any information from it.
Yeah, I mean, amazing enough. I mean, I think USCIS USCIS is actually trying to do certain things like, changing your biometrics appointment. But it's unfortunately
it's just slow. It's like a trickle, Jesse.
It's trimming. They need to really go in and take a hammer to it, because if they can do it with that, they can do it with just
get the chainsaw out.
Just about EADs. It's work authorization is an election issue. I'm going to tell you right now, because these states are losing their minds.
Oh no! Well, it's funny. I was on LinkedIn just before we got on the call, and our good friend from Texas, Paul posted a picture of him with the district director and the whole liaison committee meeting with the local USCIS office in San Antonio or in Austin.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking our local office in Atlanta hasn't had a meeting with anybody for 7 years.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. It's
they're not trying that hard, is what I'm telling you. Any FOIA by 45, we can't plan if we don't know who's in the line. Emily, you've got me on that one. I don't know what you're referring to. Yeah, so I think part of it is that if you look at the statistics that they publish, it just says 45. So you don't know whose 45s are pending. Are they employment-based? Are they family-based? So they have 800,000 pending F-45s, but you don't know for whom. So you can do a FOIA on that. FOIAs are easy, by the way. You just go on to the website and just do a FOIA. It takes you literally 2 minutes. And then you wait 2 years for the information to come out.
Or you sue.
Or you sue then. Then you sue after. They only have 20. They have 10 days technically, but I give them after 10 days. You write them a letter that says I consider your non-response to denial. I appeal. You wait 10 more days. Hey, I consider your non-response to denial. I go to federal court. Last time I did that, it was Cook versus Chadu here in Atlanta, and we got that really interesting.
We did that on the global entry. When they went the Muhammad problem.
Yep. Oh yes, the Muhammad problem.
Yeah.
All right. I don't think there's anything else. Got other questions? It's great to see everybody.
Yeah.
We'll be back. We'll be back next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. Greg, it'll just be me and Jesse, I guess. And then in a couple of weeks, we'll try to do.
Going to my AI product officially is unveiled at the tech conference next week.
That's awesome. And if you haven't seen Greg's AI artwork on LinkedIn, you should.
Those are pretty cool, don't you think?
It's actually really cool. I mean, if you could print that on art paper and frame it, you could sell that stuff.
Immigration themed AI art.
It's good.
I haven't seen it.
It's good on LinkedIn. It's very good stuff.
Greg. I have a lot more of them. I just didn't want to inflict everything.
I thought it was really good. All right, we'll see you guys next week. Oh, by the way, I'm live at 1:00 on my own Facebook page today. We're going to do it in Spanish today. We're going to be talking about the TikTok lawyers and VAWA.
Tell me more.
Well, if your kids were mean to you when they were teenagers, you qualify for VAWA.
Well, I have two that are about to turn 13, and I don't know if they're going to make it. So maybe.
Oh no, you're just starting, buddy. At 13, they're just getting going.
They're going to get going, all right. Yeah,
they're going to get going. And we're going to talk about. I mean, I see so many folks whose kids are citizens, right? And I want to get sponsored. Okay, how'd you come in the country without a visa?
Yeah.
Kid in the military? No. Victim of a crime? No. Victim of abuse? No. Sorry. You ready to go home for 10 years? Because that's the law. You got a mom or dad who's a citizen? No.
Jesus. Yeah.
You know how many people are? I mean, there's probably 5 to 7 million people like that literally couldn't just status.
That was the case.
No.
5 to 7. I see 20 a week like this. I mean, it's.
I'll tell you right now, if I had my druthers, along with DACA reform, I would sneak in 245I again, you would.
Oh, you'd solve the problem overnight. But Jesse, there's an easier way. Just get rid of INA 212A9.
They won't. But see, you know what? That's a hard ask.
No, but the way that I would approach it is keep it, but allow a fine.
That's it. It has to be a moneymaker. So I would try
as long as they're still getting punished. When they are getting punished by paying a fine, but that would be the way to solve it.
Pay them 10 G's absolutely, and show us your taxes.
Yeah,
done.
Make it painful and.
Profitable, painful and profitable,
but possible.
Jesse, show me the money.
That's
show
it.
Me the money. That's all it's about, right?
I mean, we can't.
I can hear Chadu saying, "Show me the money."
Right, and then but the problem. We can't even freaking have someone who take the gavel here. I mean, it's. I'll tell you, there is
next week. There will be a speaker. I predict.
By the way, somebody just nominated John Boehner.
I heard, well, Jamie Raskin was talking about some of the people. Mitt Romney was one of the ones that they were considering. Liz Cheney.
McHenry. It's going to be McHenry.
Yeah,
they're going to do a coalition around McHenry because Democrats don't. He's kind of he's not crazy. He's not crazy.
He's
right?
not going to get.
He's
mad.
a career. He's the only thing he
aligned
knows.
with McCarthy, and that's his downfall. They're going to have the same problem with him.
Yeah. So
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's like they've gone through more hell to do this one thing than what else have they like? What are they going to like? Pat themselves on the
only
back?
30 days left before we run out of money again. So
I know. It's sad.
Be a speaker.
it's a clown show. You guys have a great day.
All
All
right.
right.
Bye-bye.